The rain hammered the old stone steps of St. Mary's like God's own judgment, each drop a accusation against Elena's soul. She huddled there, 18 and shattered, her parents' Bible-thumping echoes. "You're no daughter of ours, not with that devil's whisper in your blood," still ringing louder than the thunder. As taillights vanished into the storm-slick streets of Elmwood, Ohio, Elena realized with a gut-wrenching clarity that love, her quiet truth for Sarah from Chem Lab, had just cost her everything. Elena had always been the good girl in a town that prized conformity above all. Elmwood was the kind of Midwest nowhere where Friday nights meant football under floodlights and Sunday mornings meant sermons on sin that left you feeling like you'd personally offended the Almighty just by breathing. Her parents, devout pillars of the First Baptist congregation, had raised her on a steady diet of scripture and suspicion. "The world'll try to twist you, Mija," her mother would say, crossing herself with fervent precision. "But we hold the line." Elena had nodded along, her secret buried deep like a winter seed under frost, until Sarah's shy smile in the high school hallway cracked it wide open. It started innocently enough. Shared notes in Mr. Hargrove's AP bio, late-night texts about constellations and crushes on fictional heroines. Sarah was everything Elena wasn't, bold with a laugh that cut through the cafeteria din like sunlight through stained glass. By junior year their hands brushed under desks, and by senior prom, Elena's heart was a wildfire she couldn't douse. They stole kisses in the bleachers, whispered promises under the oak tree behind the library. "This is us," Sarah murmured one humid June evening, her fingers tracing Elena's palm. "Real as the stars." But secrets in Elmwood had a way of unraveling like cheap yarn. It was Mrs. Whitaker, the nosy neighbor with binoculars for eyes, who spotted them first, two silhouettes too close in the park after dark. By Monday, whispers slithered through the pews. Elena's father, a stern auto mechanic with calluses like his convictions, confronted her over pot roasts that tasted like ash. "Is it true? That filth?" His voice cracked, not with sorrow but revulsion. Her mother wept into her apron, clutching rosary beads like a lifeline. "We prayed for a miracle, Elena. Not this curse." The family meeting stretched into the witching hour, accusations flying like arrows. Elena stood her ground, voice trembling but steady. "It's not a choice, Papa. It's who I am. I love her." That was the spark. Her father's face twisted into something unrecognizable. Betrayal, yes, but laced with the poison of his faith. "Then you're no blood of mine." They packed her duffel in silence, the storm outside mirroring the one brewing within. At the church steps, St. Mary's neutral ground for their intervention, they left her. No goodbye hug, no whispered apology. Just the slam of car doors and the receding growl of the engine, swallowed by the downpour. Elena curled into herself, the cold seeping through her thin sweater, her phone dead from endless ignored calls to Sarah. The church doors loomed like judgmental sentinels, but she couldn't bring herself to knock. What God would welcome a sinner like her? Minutes blurred into an eternity of shivers and sobs, the rain washing away what little makeup she dared to wear. Headlights pierced the veil then. Not her parents' return, but a patrol car, slow and cautious, pulling to the curb. Officer Calistandra Callista Rivera killed the wipers, squinting through the deluge. At 34, she'd seen her share of Elmwood's underbelly. Bar fights, DUIs, the occasional domestic that left bruises blooming like ugly flowers. But this, a lone figure on sacred steps, drenched and defeated, tugged at something primal in her chest. Callista had her own ghosts. A badge earned after her brother's overdose. A closet door cracked but never flung wide in this conservative pocket of Ohio. She was out to her precinct quietly, but Elmwood's walls had ears. Grabbing her rain slicker, she stepped out, boots splashing in puddles that reflected fractured street lamps. "Hey!" she called, voice cutting through the roar like a lifeline. "You okay? Need a lift?" Elena looked up, eyes red-rimmed and wary, mascara streaking like war paint. "Go away. I'm fine." Callista crouched, keeping distance but not deference. "Darlin', you look like a drowned kitten, and that's the First Baptist across the street. Rough night for prayers." She tilted her head, catching the glint of a silver cross necklace tangled in Elena's collar. Familiar, too familiar. Elena's laugh was bitter, broken. "They left me here. Said I was Unclean. The word hung heavy, laced with the venom her father had spat. Callista's jaw tightened, a flicker of her own buried rage surfacing. She'd lost count of the kids she pulled from similar ditches. Runaways with stories that mirrored her younger self's unspoken fears. Unclean? Bullshit. Come on, let's get you dry. I'm Callista. What's your name? Elena. It came out small, but she uncurled just a fraction, the offer of anonymity a bomb. The cruiser smelled of coffee and vinyl, a far cry from the sterile chill of abandonment. Callista cranked the heat, tossing Elena a spare blanket from the trunk. My place is 5 minutes. Hot cocoa, no sermons. Deal. Elena nodded, exhaustion winning over pride. As they drove through Elmwood's sleeping veins, past the neon-lit diner, the shuttered mill, Callista stole glances. The girl was a porcelain doll cracked at the edges, dark hair plastered to olive skin, eyes like storm-tossed seas. Something in that vulnerability stirred Callista. Not pity, but a fierce protectiveness. She'd foster kids before, the system's cast-offs, but this felt different. Personal. The apartment was a modest second-floor walk-up above a laundromat, all exposed brick and mismatched furniture. A cop's haven of takeout menus and dog-eared paperbacks. Callista's rescue mutt, Luna, greeted them with enthusiastic tail wags, oblivious to the drama. Ignore the mess, Callista said, flicking on lights that bathed the space in warm amber. Showers down the hall. Towels are clean. While Elena thawed under hot water that steamed away the night's grime, Callista brewed cocoa with marshmallows, her abuela's recipe, a whisper of Miami roots in this gray Ohio exile. By the time Elena emerged in oversized sweats, hair turbaned in a towel, the first tendrils of trust flickered. They sat at the scarred oak table, mugs steaming between them. Talk if you want, Callista said softly, no pressure in her tone. Or not. Your call. The dam broke slow at first, then in a torrent. Sarah's sweetness, the stolen moments, the parents' ultimatum. They think it's a phase. Or the devil. I don't know anymore. Elena's voice hitched, tears fresh but cathartic. Where do I go? I'm nobody now. Callista reached across, hand hovering before gently covering Elena's. You're somebody to me already. And Elmwood? It's small but it's got resources. Shelters, counselors. But tonight? You crash here. Tomorrow we figure it. That touch lingered, electric in its simplicity. A bridge over the chasm of isolation. Elena searched Callista's face. Sharp cheekbones, hazel eyes flecked with gold, a faint scar above her lip from a bar scuffle years back. There was strength there, unyielding yet kind, the kind that didn't demand repayment. For the first time since the rain started, Elena breathed without the weight of judgment. Sleep came fitful on the pull-out couch, Luna snores a lullaby. Callista lay awake in her bedroom, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. She'd meant to help, to pass the baton to social services come dawn. But as Elena's soft breaths filtered through the walls, Callista felt a pull deeper than duty. An echo of her own youth, when love for a college roommate had been shoved into shadows, only to wither unspoken. No, she thought, turning over. This girl deserved light. And maybe, just maybe, so did she. Dawn crept in rosy-fingered, painting the kitchen in hues of possibility. Callista was at the stove, flipping pancakes, her go-to for fragile mornings, when Elena wandered in, tentative as a fawn. Smells like heaven, she murmured, sliding onto a stool. Flattery gets you seconds, Callista quipped, plating with a flourish. Over syrup and stories, Callista's tales of precinct pranks, Elena's dreams of art school in Chicago, the ice thawed further. Elena sketched absent-mindedly on a napkin, a quick portrait of Luna that captured the dog's soulful gaze. Callista watched, mesmerized. You've got talent, kid. Real fire. The word kid stung a little, but Elena let it slide, warmth blooming in her chest. For the first time, conversation flowed without subtext, without the fear of exposure. They lingered over coffee, plans hatching like spring buds. Elena would call Sarah, explain the exile. Callista would pull strings for a temp job at the diner's sister cafe. One step, Callista said, echoing her training mantra. That's all it takes. But Elmwood had other ideas. As they stepped out, keys jingling, a familiar sedan idled across the street. Elena's parents' faces gaunt with regret or resolve, it was hard to tell. Her mother's eyes locked on, pleading silent. Elena froze, the duffel at her feet suddenly leaden. "Go inside," Callista murmured, stepping forward, badge glinting like a shield. "I've got this." The confrontation was civil on the surface, voices low, no raised fists, but laced with the barbs of broken faith. Mr. Vargas, eyes bloodshot, extended a hand. "Officer, this is family business. She's coming home." Callista's stance was iron. "Sir, ma'am, Elena's 18. Adult. And from what I gather, she was left in a storm. That's not family. That's abandonment." Her voice held no accusation, only fact, honed by years of diffusing dynamite. Mrs. Vargas clutched her purse like a talisman. We panicked. The church was to save her soul." "Save?" Callista's laugh was soft, sorrowful. "Love doesn't need saving. It needs space." She glanced back at the apartment window, where Elena's silhouette hovered. "She's safe here. For now." The sedan peeled away, tires hissing on wet asphalt. A retreat, not a surrender. Callista returned to find Elena curled on the couch, knees to chest. "They're gone. For today." Callista sank beside her, arm draping casual over the cushions. "You did good standing your ground last night. Proud of you." Elena's head tilted, resting against Callista's shoulder, a gesture small, seismic. "Thank you for seeing me." In that moment, with Luna sprawled at their feet and the sun climbing high, the world narrowed to the steady thrum of two hearts sinking. It wasn't love, not yet, just the seed of it, planted in fertile soil of shared scars. But Elmwood's winds were shifting, and with them the promise of storms yet to come. Weeks blurred into a rhythm Elena hadn't known she craved. Mornings of shared jogs along the riverwalk, where willows wept into the current. Afternoons at the cafe, where Elena slung lattes with a smile that drew tips like moths to flame. Evenings on Callista's balcony, fireflies dancing to the symphony of crickets. Sarah visited once, tearful reunion in the park, but distance. Her family's move to Cleveland for college severed what had been. "You're my first," Sarah whispered. "But not my only." It hurt, but Elena let go, the ache dulled by Callista's steady presence. Callista, for her part, navigated the tightrope of care with practiced grace. She introduced Elena to the precinct's found family. Gruff Sergeant O'Malley with his dad jokes. Tech was Riley, who blasted indie folk on stakeouts. At a backyard barbecue under string lights that twinkled like conspirators, Elena laughed freely for the first time in months. Her napkin sketches passed hand to hand. "Artist in the making," O'Malley boomed, clapping Callista on the back. "You snagged a good one." The implication hung, unspoken but electric. Callista felt it in the way Elena's gaze lingered during movie nights. Rom-coms where heroines claimed their truths. In the brush of fingers over dish soap suds. At 34 to Elena's 18, the gap yawned: professional ethics, societal side-eyes, the whisper of grooming that could torch reputations. Yet in quiet hours, when Elena's head found Callista's lap during thunderstorms, vulnerability bridged it all. One crisp October eve, as leaves carpeted the streets in crimson confession, the fracture reappeared. A knock at midnight, Elena's parents unannounced, bearing a lawyer's card and a plea wrapped in piety. "Reconciliation," her father said through the door, voice muffled but insistent. "For your soul's sake." Elena cracked it open, chain latch a fragile barrier. "My soul's fine, Papa. It's my life you tried to bury." Her mother's eyes, red-rimmed, darted past to Callista in the kitchen, pouring chamomile with deliberate calm. "That woman's poison. Leading you deeper." The word landed like a slap. Elena's hand trembled on the knob. "Callista saved me. You're the ones who threw me away." Negotiations dragged, custody threats, though laughable at Elena's age. Emotional blackmail veiled as concern. They left with promises of prayer circles, but the seed of doubt took root. That night Elena paced, shadows lengthening her form. What if they're right? What if I am broken? Callista pulled her close, arms a fortress. Broken things mend strongest. You're not poison, Elena. You're light. Their foreheads touched, breaths mingling, the air thick with what-ifs. No kiss, not yet, but the precipice loomed inviting. Fall deepened Elmwood's embrace, turning the town into a postcard of amber and rust, but beneath the picturesque veneer, tension simmered like stew on a low boil. Elena threw herself into art classes at the community center, charcoal strokes capturing the raw ache of her exile, portraits of fractured families, lovers' hands intertwined against stormy skies. Her work caught the eye of Miss Harlow, the silver-haired instructor with a voice like aged whiskey. "You've got rage, girl. Channel it." Elena did, her pieces selling at local fairs, dollars stacking toward that Chicago dream. But money couldn't buy peace. Nightmares of church bells tolling judgment woke her in sweats, Luna's wine the only anchor. Callista's shifts grew heavier, a string of burglaries at the mill's outskirts, whispers of an opioid ring snaking in from the city. She came home bone-tired, badge heavier than her holster, but Elena's presence was elixir. Dinners became rituals. Elena's experimental tacos, lime zest, cilantro fresh, paired with Callista's precinct anecdotes, sanitized for levity. "Chased a shoplifter into the duck pond today," Callista would say, demonstrating with dramatic flair. Elena's giggles were music, chasing shadows from the corners. Yet the undercurrent pulled stronger. Touches lingered. A hand on the small of the back guiding through crowded aisles at the farmer's market. Elena's fingers combing through Callista's hair after a rough day, unprompted, intimate. One November night, snow flurrying like confetti from heaven's indifferent hand, they bundled on the couch for gratitude marathons. Old films where underdogs triumphed. Thelma and Louise flickered, guns blazing, winds whipping through open windows. Elena's commentary was fierce. They chose each other over the cage. Damn right. Callista paused the screen, heart thudding. Ever feel caged, Elena? Here with me. The question hung, vulnerable as fresh snow. Elena turned, eyes searching. Caged? No. Free maybe. For the first time. Her hand found Callista's, palm to palm, pulses sinking. The room held its breath. Outside, the world hushed. Callista leaned in, slow as dawn, lips brushing Elena's in a question more than claim. Elena answered, soft and sure. The kiss a revelation, sweet, searching, tasting of hot chocolate and home. It deepened, hands mapping familiar terrain anew. Callista's thumb tracing Elena's jaw, Elena's nails grazing Callista's neck. No rush, no conquest, just the quiet unfurling of longing long denied. They broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed, laughter bubbling through the gravity. Was that? Okay. Callista whispered, voice rough with wonder. More than, Elena breathed, tracing Callista's scar. It's us. Real. From there the dance began, cautious, exhilarating. Mornings tangled in sheets, Luna banished to the living room with a chew toy. Stolen hours where Elena's sketches immortalized Callista's profile, fierce and tender. They navigated the chasm of years with humor and honesty. You're ancient, Elena teased over breakfast, dodging a flung napkin. Wise, Callista countered, pulling her close. And your trouble. Love, when it named itself, was a bomb. Healing fissures neither had voiced. But Elmwood's gaze was sharpening. Riley, the precinct tech, cornered Callista in the break room, coffee mug steaming like her curiosity. Heard you're shacked up with that artist kid. Cute, but watch the optics, Rivertown's got tongues wagging. Callista brushed it off, her orientation was no secret, and Elena was no kid. But the warning lodged like a pebble in her boot. Worse came from Elena's front. A letter arrived, postmarked from her parents' church. An invitation to a restorative retreat, laced with scripture on repentance. Enclosed was a photo, Elena's childhood self, gap-toothed and beaming at a baptism, captioned, "Come home to who you were." She crumpled it, but the barbs stuck. They think they can erase this, she told Callista that night, curled against her in the dark. Us. Callista held tighter. They can't. But ignoring it won't make it vanish. Face it head-on or it'll fester. The retreat loomed, a weekend in the Hocking Hills, cabins amid autumn blaze led by Pastor Hale, her father's old seminary chum. Elena debated, torn between finality and faint hope. One last try, she decided. For closure. You in? Callista nodded, steeling for battle. Wouldn't miss it. The drive wound through hills ablaze in red and gold. radio humming folk tunes of lost loves reclaimed. Elena's hand rested on Callista's thigh, a talisman. Arrival was a tableau of forced cheer. Folding chairs around a bonfire, attendees in khakis and crosses, her parents rising with arms outstretched. Mija, her mother breathed, hugging fierce. Her father nodded at Callista, polite frost. Officer. The sessions blurred, testimonials of deliverance. Prayers heavy with implication. Elena sat rigid, Callista's presence a silent sentinel beside her. That night in their assigned cabin, separate beds appointed courtesy. A knock shattered the quiet. Pastor Hale, Bible in hand, eyes gleaming with zeal. A word, Elena? About the path you're on. Callista rose, blocking the threshold. She's resting, Pastor. Tomorrow. But Elena waved her off, curiosity or masochism winning. In the common room, lamplight casting long shadows, Hale's words flowed like honeyed venom. Your parents grieve a prodigal. This woman, admirable in service perhaps, but a snare for your spirit. True love aligns with his design. Elena's retort was fire. His design made me this way. And Callista? She's grace, not a snare. Hale's smile thinned. Grace without repentance is license. Prey on it. Sleep evaded them both. Back in bed, Elena whispered doubts into Callista's neck. What if he's right? What if we're wrong? Callista's response was a vow. Love like ours? It's the holiest thing I've known. She kissed away the questions, bodies entwining in affirmation. Slow, reverent, a liturgy of their own. Dawn brought the bonfire's climax. Public confessions, spotlights on breakthroughs. Elena's parents took the mic, voices quavering. We failed her. Her father admitted, tears carving tracks. Pushed too hard. But we see now, family isn't blood alone. It's choice. Her mother nodded, extending olive branch. Stay, Elena. Or go. But know you're ours. The crowd murmured approval, but Elena stood, Callista at her flank. I choose me. And her. She gestured to Callista. Hand clasped defiantly. Gasps rippled, scandal in the sanctuary. Her father's face crumpled, not in anger but anguish raw. Then you're lost to us. The drive home was silent storm. Elena's sobs the only sound. Callista gripped the wheel, heart fracturing for the girl who'd cracked her open. At the apartment, collapse came. Elena raging, then unraveling, Callista holding through the tempest. I thought they'd bend, Elena choked. Just a little. Some roots run too deep, Callista murmured, rocking her. But ours? We'll grow new. Winter settled, blanketing Elmwood in hush. Elena's art flourished, a gallery show downtown. Her exile series drawing murmurs of powerful provocative. Callista pinned the review to the fridge, pride swelling. Their love deepened roots. Holidays with the precinct crew. Luna decked in antlers. New Year's kisses under fireworks that lit the sky like divine approval. But betrayal brewed, insidious. Loyal Riley had been approached, anonymous tip to the chief. Rivera's involved with a minor. Reckless. Elena was 18 legal but optics bit deep. The inquiry came swift. Internal review, sidelong glances in the bullpen. Callista faced it stone-faced, statements crisp. Consenting adults. End of. The chief, a grizzled vet with a soft spot for underdogs, cleared her. No smoke, River. But tread light. Yet the stain lingered. Elena, sensing the shift, withdrew. Am I costing you everything? No, Callista lied, then truth. But it's a fight. The fight escalated when Elena's ex, Sarah, emboldened by college freedom, reappeared, texts laced with nostalgia. Miss our stars. Coffee. Elena shared them, torn. Just friends, she insisted, but Callista's jealousy flared, unbidden. Friends don't rewrite history. The argument erupted over takeout gone cold. Accusations flying, Callista's control, Elena's wanderlust. You treat me like a rescue pup. Elena shouted, doors slamming in her wake. She crashed at Ms. Harlow's, sketches furious slashes of betrayal. Callista paced empty rooms, Luna's whine echoing her ache. Pride warred with panic. She called Riley for backup. Advice from the oracle? Grovel, Riley deadpanned. With flowers. And that puppy dog face. Reconciliation came at the gallery's closing night. Elena's pieces illuminated like confessions. Callista arrived, roses wilting in the chill, words tumbling. I was scared of losing you. But pushing? That's not love. Elena turned from her canvas. A dual portrait, them entwined in light. Neither's doubting. But forgiveness bloomed, arms wrapping, whispers mending. We're in this. Messy and all. Spring thawed the frost, but not the undercurrents. Elena's parents sent one last missive. A check for art school and signed with forgive as he forgives. She cashed it, a pragmatic piece, but kept distance. Callista's promotion loomed, detective a step up, but tied to testifying in the opioid bust, pulling her nights long. In the bloom of May, as dogwoods unfurled petals like prayers, Elena proposed a road trip. Chicago preview. Just us. Callista agreed, hearts light. But on the eve, sirens wailed. Shooting at the mill, Callista's team first on scene. Go without me, she urged, kissing hasty. I'll catch up. Elena waited, phone silent. Hours stretched. Then the call, not Callista but O'Malley voice gravel. She's hit, Elvest caught most, but hospital. Now. The world tilted, Elena's scream swallowed by the dash to Mercy General. Corridors blurred. Antiseptic sting in her nostrils. Callista lay pale, IV'd and groggy, Gray's wound bandaged but spirit intact. Tougher than I look, she rasped, hand seeking Elena's. Tears fell, Elena's vigil unbroken. Don't you dare leave me. Not after all this. Wouldn't dream, Callista murmured, thumb stroking knuckles. In that sterile room, monitors beeping like heartbeats, their bond forged unbreakable. Love not as fairy tale but forge fire. Summer scorched Elmwood into a haze of cicada songs and lemonade stands. But for Elena and Callista, it was a season of reckoning. The shooting made headlines. Hero cop thwarts drug heist. Thrusting Callista into the spotlight she loathed. Talk shows beckoned from Columbus. Her face on the local news with that lopsided grin Elena adored. You're famous, Elena teased from the kitchen, stirring gazpacho while Callista nursed a beer on the stoop. Sign my cast. She waggled her bandaged arm, the graze now a pink ribbon of scar. Callista snorted, pulling her down for a lazy kiss. Only if you sign my heart. Domesticity suited them. Weekends at the lake, Elena's easel capturing sun-dappled waters. Barbecues where O'Malley grilled burgers and stories in equal measure. But fame's shadow crept. Crank calls to the precinct, letters laced with Sodom's finest slurs. Callista shrugged them off. Bigot's gonna bigot. But Elena saw the toll, the way her lover's sleep grew fitful, badge tossed aside with a sigh. Elena's art school acceptance arrived like manna. Full ride to the School of the Art Institute, deferred a semester for life experience. Chicago, she breathed over celebratory Thai takeout. Chopsticks clinking like toasts. Big city. No stairs. Callista's smile faltered, just a flicker. Sounds perfect. For you. The unspoken loomed. Distance, the elephant in their sunlit rooms. Elena broached it head-on during a twilight walk, fireflies winking conspirators. Come with me. Or after. We could. Transfer? Mid-career. Callista stopped, hands in pockets, vulnerability etching lines. I want to, God I do. But this is home. Messy but mine. And you? You're meant for more than Elmwood's edges. Tears pricked. Elena swiped them fierce. More without you. That's less. They clung under the stars, resolutions dissolving into promises. Visits, video calls, a love elastic as hope. But doubt seeded, watered by Elena's parents' radio silence. Had the check been goodbye? Autumn winds heralded change, leaves pirouetting like farewells. Elena's going away show packed the gallery. Her Roots and Wings series, canvases of tangled vines yielding to open skies. Callista front and center in every frame. Miss Harlow beamed, sails soaring. Even Pastor Hale slunk in, anonymous in the crowd, gaze lingering on a piece titled Grace Unchained. Elena caught it, nodded curt. No warmth but no war. Packing was purgatory. Boxes of brushes and canvases, Luna's toys scattered like accusations. Callista helped, jokes masking the ache. Gonna miss my socks disappearing into your laundry abyss. Last night they made love like a ritual, slow, sacred bodies mapping the map of each other. Wait for me, Elena whispered into Dawn's gray. Always. The bus station dawn was cruel, fluorescent harsh against tear-streaked goodbyes. O'Malley and Riley flanked Callista, stoic sentinels. Elena hugged Luna, fierce, promising treats. Call when you land, Callista said, voice steady, arms crushing. The bus pulled away, Elena's handprint fogging the window. A ghost wave. Chicago swallowed her whole. Skyscrapers stabbing clouds, galleries humming with ambition. Elena dove in figure drawing at midnight, street murals under L tracks. Her loft roommate Jazz, a tattooed sculptor with a punk snarl, became fast kin. Elmwood? Sounds like a cult. Spill. Nights blurred into critiques and craft beers. Elena's sketches evolving. Bolder lines, urban grit infusing her heartland roots. But absence gnawed. Calls with Callista were lifelines. Bagged a dealer today, Callista crowed, precinct buzz in background. Your turn. Paint a masterpiece yet? Elena laughed, but the lag echoed emptiness. Letters arrived from home, Callista's scrawls on precinct stationery, doodles of Luna in cop hats. Elena's postcards, city vignettes with Miss Your Coffee breath. Winter gripped the windy city in iron fists, blizzards burying Elena's resolve. A gallery crawl introduced Theo, a curator with velvet voice and invitations to network that lingered too long. Your raw talent, he purred over wine, hand brushing hers. Elena recoiled, polite. Taken. But the seed of temptation sprouted. Independence, allure of the new. Back in Elmwood, Callista buried in work. The opioid ring cracked wide, her testimony sealing indictments. Promotion to detective came with fanfare, a brass plaque and backslaps, but hollow without Elena's whoop. Holidays loomed solitary. She hosted the crew. Riley's eggnog spiked ruthless. She's building wings, Riv, O'Malley grunted over pie. Don't clip him with worry. But worry festered. A call from Jazz, Elena's number dead. She's ghosting Han, partying too hard? Ignited panic. Callista booked a flight, heart hammering like a fugitive's pulse. Chicago's chaos greeted her. Snow-slick streets, horns blaring defiance. The loft reeked of turpentine and regret. Jazz answered, eyes wary. Elena's out. Again. Callista waited, nursing coffee gone cold, sketches strewn like battlefield flags. Dawn brought Elena, disheveled, lipstick smudged, laughter dying at the sight. Callista? What? Surprise, Callista said, voice even, storm within. Or intervention. Your call. Collapse came swift. Elena crumbling onto the futon, sobs wrenching. I tried to be big city strong. But it's loud, empty. Theo, he's easy, no stakes. I got scared we'd break from afar. Callista knelt, arms enveloping. We break together or not at all. No judgment, just anchor. They talked till noon, fears unpacked. Theo dismissed as distraction, not desire. Elena's confession cut deepest. I saw Mom at a holiday market. She hugged me, whispered proud but pray. It twisted everything. Families twist, Callista murmured. But we untwist. The weekend was reclamation. Art Institute wanderings hand in hand. Deep dish devoured in a hole-in-the-wall, cheese strings like laughter lines. Callista met professors, vouched Elena's grit. Elena sketched Callista amid Millennium Park steel beams, reflection infinite. Stay. Elena pleaded, departure eve. Can't. But soon. Callista's kiss sealed it, fierce as vows. Spring thawed separations. Elena's midterms aced, a fellowship offer. Stipend sweet but soul-sapping commute. She deferred again. For us. Callista's caseload lightened, they plotted. Elmwood base, Chicago weekends, a future woven loose but strong. Betrayal struck sly from kin's quarter. Elena's mother called, first in months, voice quavering. Your father's sick. Cancer. Come see him. Before. Elena flew solo, Callista's go, love her through it echoing. The hospital room was sterile hell. Monitors beeping dirges, her father gaunt, eyes hollow. Mija, he rasped, hand skeletal. I was wrong. Fear blinded me. Tears flowed bidirectional. Papa, I forgive. But I am who I am. He nodded, gaze drifting to the doorway. Callista unbidden bearing flowers. Shock rippled, then tentative. Officer. Thank you. For her. Wards became bridge. Her mother baking tamales, stories swapped over chemo vigils. No full embrace. Faith's chasm lingered but cracks widened to light. Elena returned buoyant, reporting over FaceTime. He's fighting. And us? He asked about you. Callista's grin split wide. Progress. Summer crescendoed in joy. A cabin getaway in the hills, no cell service, just lake swims and stargazing. Elena's ring, simple silver, engraved roots and wings, slipped onto Callista's finger. Promise not possession. Partners, Elena said, moonlight gilding her vow. In chaos and calm. But calm was illusion. September brought the leak. Precinct gossip, Riley's loose lip to a reporter. Rivera's got a live-in artist half her age, post-shooting sob story. The article dropped like a grenade. Cops controversial comfort. Love or liability. Photos grainy, them at the market, Elena's hand in Callista's. Fallout was swift. Chief summons, board review looming. Optics, River retire the narrative or risk the badge. Callista fought, union rep in tow, but doubt crept. Was she Elena's anchor or anchor weight? Elena raged at the clipping, fists clenched. They twist us into scandal. Again. Twist back, Callista said, steel returning. With truth. The press conference was Elena's idea. Joint, unscripted. Cameras flashed in the precinct lot, mics thrust like spears. Callista spoke first, voice rock. My partner's strength saved me as much as I her. Love isn't liability. It's life. Elena stepped up, eyes fire. From church steps to this. We're not story. We're survivors. Questions flew, age, intent, but they fielded united, hands clasped defiant. The board cleared her. Commendable candor. But scars remained. Riley apologized, tearful. I spilled to cope. Betrayed you both. Forgiveness came hard. Probation her penance, but trust's thread mended. Winter whispered of permanence. Callista's proposal under Christmas lights. Knee bent in the snow globe town square. Marry me, trouble? Make the mess official. Elena's yes was a song. Ring exchanged in spring's first bloom. But joy's shadow loomed, Elena's father fading fast, final wish. See you wed. In a church. Neutral ground. The wedding planning was tapestry. St. Mary's steps, now sanctified by memory. Vows humanistic, no God invoked but grace abundant. Guests mingled, precinct brass, art kin, her mother dabbing eyes. Father wheeled in, frail but fierce. Beautiful, he mouthed as Elena, in ivory lace, walked arm in arm with Callista. Uniform traded for suit sharp as resolve. Rings slipped, kisses sealed under arches that once judged. To us, they toasted, champagne bubbling like laughter. The honeymoon was a whirlwind through the Smokies. Cabins with stone hearths, trails winding like veins of earth. Elena sketched feverishly, capturing Callista's profile against misty peaks. Callista hiked ahead, turning to offer hands, pulls that echoed their first rescue. Nights blurred in firelight, bodies and stories entwined. Callista's Miami childhood, salsa rhythms in humid air. Elena's Elmwood dreams, chalk on sidewalks birthing worlds. This is forever. Elena murmured into Callista's collarbone, the words a seal. Return thrust them into rhythm anew. Elena commuting weekends, her Chicago fellowship a glittering cage she navigated with grit. Lectures on postmodern feminism fueled her fire. Theses on queer narratives in American art. Her own woven in footnotes. Callista's detective desk piled high. Cold cases thawed by her tenacity. A missing teen ring busted under her lead. Accolades flowed. Civic award, her name etched in brass. But home was haven. Luna's ecstatic greets. Dinners where Elena's experimental risottos vied with Callista's grill mastery. Yet fractures spiderwebbed. Elena's father rallied, brief, remission's false dawn. Then relapsed, pulling her south more. Hospital vigils wore her thin, sketches turning somber. Hollow cheeks for shadows. He's asking for stories, she told Callista over crackling line. Ours. Sans the queer parts. Omission stung, but Elena obliged, editing love to friendship, a mercy for his mending. Callista, meanwhile, faced precinct politics. Promotion whispers soured by the old article's ghost. A new captain, Hargrove, yes, that Hargrove, Elena's old bio teacher, transferred from suburbs, eyed her sidelong. Personal life's personal detective. Till it bleeds into the job. Hargrove's sermons echoed his brother's. Faith's fist in velvet glove. Callista bit retorts, focusing on cases. A domestic epidemic, bruises she catalogued like sins. Betrayal's blade fell sharpest from within. Riley redeemed Riley, cracked under Hargrove's probe. Details spilled in casual chats. Dates, addresses, just to clear air. The leak hit the wires. Rivera romance, badge and bedroom drama resurfaces. Pundits pounced, op-eds decrying moral decay in blue. Calls for her resignation. Callista's chief buffered, but the toll mounted. Sleep evaded, Elena's visits shortened by thesis crunch. The confrontation brewed over Thanksgiving. Elena home, table laden but tension thick. Riley swore silence. Callista vented, carving turkey with undue force. Now Hargrove's got ammo. Elena's fork paused. Fire him. Or me. Pick a side. The words landed like frost. Not choosing. Fighting for both. But you're losing you. Elena pressed, eyes storm. For us. Argument escalated, Callista's duty, Elena's selfishness. Culminating in slam doors, Elena fleeing to her mother's, Callista alone with cold plates and Luna's wine. Days stretched taut. Texts terse, calls dodged. Elena's mediation came via jazz, blunt as chisel. You're both artists of pain. Carve a path out. Reunion happened at St. Mary's, neutral as their vows, bench polished by time's hand. Callista arrived first, roses wilted like apologies. Elena followed, sketchpad clutched. Drew this, she said, flipping pages. Them as warriors, shields linked against arrows. We're stronger fused. Callista's arms enveloped, sobs sinking. Forgive my walls. I built them for you. Forgiven. But breached them. Elena's kiss was covenant renewing. Winter's grip tightened with her father's decline. Elena's vigils intensified. Callista tagging weekends. Bearing tamales, her abuela mailed, roots bridging. In the room beeps a metronome, Mr. Vargas beckoned Callista close. You saved my girl. More than I. His grip weak but eyes clear. Bless this. Late but true. Tears traced. Callista nodded. She's the blessing, sir. He passed in January's hush, snow muffling grief. Funeral was tapestry. Baptist hymn softened by Elena's eulogy. Papa taught duty. I choose loves. Her mother clung post-graveside, whispering. He saw. At the end. No full mending, brother's absence a gulf, but threads pulled taut. Spring bloomed defiant. Elena's thesis defense aced. Queer cartographies. Mapping marginalia in American visuals. Earning accolades, a gallery solo in fall. Callista's internal affairs cleared her. Hargrove reassigned to traffic. Desk duty suits him. O'Malley chuckled. Riley's demotion stuck, but Callista advocated reinstatement. Growth from grace. Earning her own. Summer sang of stability. A down payment on a house. Fixer-upper with a studio attic, yard for Luna's romps. Renovations bonded them. Paint-splattered laughs, Callista's hammer swing syncing with Elena's brushstrokes. Neighbors warmed slow, potluck invites, wary glances yielding to waves. But climax brewed in shadows. An old case resurfaced. The opioid kingpin, slippery eel out on technicality. Whispers tied him to Elmwood elites, Hargrove's cousin, a mill exec with slimy reach. Callista dug Elena's sketches animating timelines. Faces in charcoal, webs of deceit. This is Pulitzer shit, Elena urged, but danger loomed. The tip came anonymous, burn phone voice distorted. Stop digging, or your artist's next. Callista's blood iced. She pulled Elena from commutes. Precaution. Elena chafed. I'm no damsel. But complied, fears chill settling. Stalking escalated. Slashed tires at the cafe, Elena's mail tampered. Threat notes scrawled, sinner's wife pays. Precinct swarmed, but Callista's rage was lone wolf. Stakeout solo, sleep forsaken. Elena confronted, gallery postponed. Fight with backup. Me included. The bus crested in monsoon July, warehouse raid, rain lashing like whips. Callista led, vest tight, Elena's locket engraved us, tucked inside. Gunfire cracked. Callista cornered the exec, cuffs snapping. But twist. Hargrove complicit, gun drawn in shadows. End it here, Rivera. Or she does. Betrayal's face. Familiar fallen froze Callista. For money? Over family. Family's weakness. His shot wild ricochet grazing. Chaos. Backup stormed Hargrove down in a hail not hers. Callista emerged soaked, shaking, medic swarming, Elena's scream piercing. Callista! Hospital again, deja vu monitors Elena's vigil, this time fury-laced. Idiot. Hero. Mine. Callista's grin weak. Got him. All tangled. Fallout rippled. Arrests cascading, Hargrove's empire crumbled. Callista's testimony sealed fates. Metal pinned amid cheers. Elena's gallery, shadows to solstice, open to throngs, her peace badge of betrayal centerpiece. Hargrove's silhouette yielding to light. Winter wrapped them gentle. Housewarming with kin, Elena's mother bringing flan. O'Malley's toast's body. Luna puppied, litter of chaos adding joy. As snow fell soft, they danced in the kitchen, radio crooning at last. We made it, Elena sighed. Through hell's gauntlet, Callista agreed. To heaven's edge. The years unfurled like Elena's canvases, layered, luminous, marked by strokes both bold and bruised. By 25, her Chicago solo had snowballed into biennials, pieces in MoMA whispers. Exile's echo, a triptych of church steps evolving to skyline embraces, fetching bids that funded scholarships for queer youth in Elmwood. Giving back, she said at openings, Callista at her elbow, suit tailored sharp. Critics lauded her visceral humanism. But Elena knew the truth. Each line was tribute to the woman who'd sketched her first safe harbor. Callista climbed ranks, lieutenant now, heading community outreach. Badge a beacon for the marginalized. Her opioid crusade birth programs, youth forums and rec centers, art therapy tie-ins with Elena's center. Hargrove's shadow faded to footnote, his trial a quiet conviction, but Callista carried scars invisible. Nights when thunder mimicked gunfire. Elena's arms the thunderclap chasing phantoms. You're my peace, Callista would murmur, fingers tracing the locket still worn. Now Elena's twin around her neck. Their home bloomed. Attic studio sun-drenched, walls alive with Elena's murals. Vines climbing to stars, figures entwined eternal. Luna's pups rehomed save one. Mischief incarnate named Soul. Bounding through herb gardens Elena coaxed from clay. Morning's ritual. Coffee black for Callista. Lattes foamed for Elena. Evenings porch swings creaking to cricket's chorus. Plans hatching like fireflies. Elena's mother woven warmer. Weekly teas evolving to co-cooked feasts. Her rosary beads clicking softer beside Elena's sketchpad. Your Papa-D be proud, she'd say, eyes misty over tamales. No sermons, just stories, his hidden jazz records, a youth's rebel glint. Forgiveness, Elena learned, was not erasure but expansion. Space for what was, room for what is. Challenges came as they do. Elena's miscarriage scare mid-residency. Grief a quiet grave. Callista's burnout, captaincy's crown heavy with bureaucracy. They weathered. Therapy sessions tag-teamed. Vacations to Miami beaches where Callista's abuela enveloped Elena. Mi Nuera, fierce as the sea. Bonds deepened. Riley's wedding, Callista best woman toasting from slips to sails. O'Malley's retirement bash, Elena's caricature roast drawing belly laughs. Climax revisited in subtle guise. A student, runaway from Baptist zeal, landed on their steps, mirror to Elena's ghost. Heard of you. The girl Mia whispered, duffel clutched. The cop who sees souls. Callista took point, foster papers swift social worker looped. Elena mentored. Art classes in the garage, strokes unjudging. Mia's healing was jagged nightmares, flare-ups, but their home held, a haven Elena once craved. Cycle broken, she told Callista one dawn, Mia's snores filtering. Thanks to you. Callista's eyes softened. To us. Betrayal's echo surfaced once more. An exposé, old Hargrove ally dredging the shooting. Rivera's reckless romance cost lives? Twisting facts to venom. Backlash bit. Protests at the precinct. Elena's gallery vandalized. Red paint scrawling pervert protector. Fear coiled but fury forged resolve. They countered collective town hall packed. Callista at podium voiced thunder. Scars aren't shame. They're stories. Minds of love saving lives, mine, hers, now Mia's. Elena followed, slides of her work projecting, from sin to symphony. Hate paints ugly. Love? Masterpieces. Applause thundered, editorials shifted. Heroes in blue and brush. The article's author retracted, sued for libel. Their home fortified, not with walls but windows wide. Summer's end marked decade. 10th anniversary, St. Mary's under stars, vows renewed, sans crowd. Just them, Luna and sole witnesses, rings polished gleaming. Elena's gift. A portrait, them aged graceful, hands linked eternal. Callista's. Deed to the house. Hours forever etched. Winters soften with age. Gray threading Callista's temples, laugh lines etching Elena's eyes. Mia thrived, off to Pratt with tearful hugs. You redrew my map. Eleanor's mother passed gentle, bequest a locket twin. Grace grows. They scattered ashes by the river, willows whispering amen. Into 30s 40s. Elena's professorship at Oberlin, queer studies chair. Callista's chiefdom, reforms rippling Ohio-wide. Travels wove tapestry. Paris ateliers, Elena strokes Eiffel-kissed. Tokyo nights, Callista's badge traded for tourist awe. Homecoming sweeter. Soul's successor, a collie named Echo, yips echoing joys. Conflict crested late. Elena's diagnosis, breast cancer, early but insistent, echoing her father's thief. Fear's old specter but arsenal vast. Callista's vigils, Mia's flights home, students' cards flooding. Treatments taxed but triumphs tallied. Remission's bell rung, party with balloons and balls. Through it, love's humanism shone. Not perfection but persistence. We chose this, Elena said post-scan. Bald head crowned in scarf, Callista's kiss featherlight. Every scar, every storm. Callista nodded. Hazel eyes gold-flecked eternal. And I choose again. Daughter of my heart, fire of my soul. Elmwood evolved around them. Pride flags fluttering Main Street. Their story mythologized in murals, school talks. No grand tragedy, no fairy dust. Just lives layered, love's luminous. On church steps now benches of welcome. Elena sat sketching one eve. Callista beside, coffee steaming shared. Still see me? Elena teased, pencil pausing. Always, Callista replied, hand over heart. Not sin. Salvation. In the hush of twilight with town's pulse soft and stars pricking vast. They rose, partners, pioneers, walking into whatever dawn. Hands clasped unbreakable.